Hi, Melody. Yeah, so I'm really excited for today's session. We're going to be talking about lead magnets. So I would like to see in the chat, has anyone used a lead magnet for their business before? Go around, you can put your video on if you want. It looks like it's a smaller group today, unless we have 10 people joining late. Hi, Lola. Hi, Alan. Hi, Goran. Awesome. Okay, so Goran has said he has used a lead magnet before. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you created a lead magnet? If so, share with us in maybe a minute or so. Okay, Goran, can you tell us a bit about your lead magnet? What did you do? you can tell us if you want. There you go. Your microphone's now on.
Hello, guys. Well, I'm not sure if it qualifies as a lead magnet, but I've used some of the pictures from Colago playgrounds that I used with my students as stories on my Instagram. So I haven't made them like super professional. I didn't edit them in Canva and add a bunch of stuff. I just from time to time I just share those things in moments on WeChat and stories on Instagram. Yeah, and actually I think that one of such moments, yeah, was the moment on WeChat, yeah, got me
WeChat moment.
got me a lead. No, I'm thinking, was it Instagram or WeChat? So, and yeah, and it got me a lead. It got me a mom to reach out to me, and she said like, hey, what's this Cambridge exam? How do you do it? What are these Cambridge materials? How, what, when, why, who, where? How can I book?
Good.
I want to buy 10. So yeah, and
Fine. That's
basically
what you heard.
it's nothing changed in terms of what I taught before, like a month ago or 2 months ago. I just used these screenshots and I wrote Cambridge exam prep, KIT exam prep, PET exam,
Nice.
PET exam prep.
Well, it's attracting the parents, isn't it? So what you're doing is you're creating content that is interesting and attracting the parents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you about lead magnets today and how we can create some for our businesses. Now, I noticed in the chat, someone said that they've got testimonials, which is great. That's fun, but you're not sure if it's a lead magnet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help to define what a lead magnet is, and then we can unpack them. And then we're actually going to split into small groups and have some thick discussion. So I hope you're chatty today. I hope that you've done your makeup and your hair. If you haven't, I guess you can keep your videos off. But I think it's going to be a really great session, an interactive session today. All right, so what is a lead magnet? All right, let's go into this. So learn how to create a lead magnet to attract students. So lead magnets are used in the first step of your funnel to finding students. So your lead magnet, you can create it. It can probably be very similar. But you can edit it for either your Facebook funnels to find students globally. Okay, remember Facebook is not typically a place for Chinese students, so we'll just say globally, or you can create a lead magnet for students in China using WeChat and Shanghongshu. So you post your lead magnet out in these places, right? And typically with global students, you do this in exchange for an email. And the reason you're asking for an email is because you want to be able to nurture them with your offers, with free content, and get them on your email list so that you can tell them, hey, I'm starting this course. Do you want to join it? Right? So that's kind of why we do it. But I would say culturally, in China, people don't really use emails that much. Some of them do, but most of them not really. Okay, so I would say it's a bit different in China. So instead of maybe getting an email list, what you could do is you could say, well, join my group. So that could be a WeChat group or it could be a Shanghongshu group. And the idea is like, if you want this, then you have to join my group. And then once you're in that group, you're nurturing them. Okay, so it's a bit different depending on where you're trying to find students. Okay, but then it's the same. Once they are in your funnel with your email or on the group, you are nurturing them with free content, which is helpful, and your offers. So again, like Katie was talking about her 7 touch points, you're not just throwing in your face like their services, you are nurturing them with helpful tips, helpful content, things like that, and making sure that they know about your services. And then that final step is people are then ready at that point, they trust you, and they are ready to buy your services. Okay, so this is like a funnel. You know, sometimes I've had it, like Go Around mentioned, someone sees a picture, they message you, they're like, ask 1,000 questions, and then they get a trial class, and you haven't got their email, you haven't put them in a WeChat group. But some people don't buy straight off of the bat. In fact, most people don't. You have to get to know them, build a relationship, nurture them. Okay, so the very first step of your funnel that we're learning about today is what is a lead magnet that's going to attract people to your services at the very start. Okay, so any questions so far? If you've got questions, pop them in the group chat. I will put it on the side. But I think what might be nice is I'll finish this and then we'll go into some questions as well. Okay, so what to use? Now, Katie mentioned a few things yesterday to give us an idea of what kind of content can we use as a lead magnet. So something that is adding value, okay, that people want. So they want to read it, they want to see it, they want to use it, they want to watch it. All right, so they want what you have. So you've got to create something that's helpful. So she suggested a few things. She said like an ebook. And again, this is from her lesson yesterday, so Bridge Academy. It could be a video series. So it could be a recording, of one of your classes, like a whole lesson, maybe with a workbook. So they can watch a lesson and have a workbook and learn something. A live webinar. So this could be a free trial class for the kids. Or if, for example, in my niche with the 11+ exams, I have seen some tutors doing a webinar for parents and explaining to parents about the 11+ exams and telling them about it. I mean, you could do that for the Cambridge English level tests. With Chinese parents, it's just, you know, they might not be able to understand your level of English unless you speak Chinese. I don't speak Chinese, so that wouldn't work for my niche. You could do a quiz or a level test. So you could just say, hey, there's an amazing test of your English. If you want it, come and get it. And then you can just send them to like the Cambridge English level test, right? It doesn't even have to be something that you've created. If you've got permission to use it, you could just make it known to them. Now, this one is where you can nurture them. So join my learning community. So you could say, if you're interested in learning lots of exciting things relating to the 11+ exams or the Cambridge exams, or you're wanting like weekly tips for the KET exams or the PET exams, you know, you can get them to join a learning community where, you know, they're talking with other parents, they're talking to you, you are able to answer their questions. Okay. Another one's a vocabulary list. This is big with my 11+ students because they have to know so much vocabulary. So I actually used a worksheet from Twinkle. So I have bought a subscription with Twinkle. There's a lot of free resources on there too. But I have permission to share that because it's for tutors to be shared to kids. Okay, I bought the subscription. So legally, I can actually share that. So I actually had a vocabulary calendar that I use, learn one word every day of the year. And I use that as a lead magnet for my 11+ students. You can use practice exam papers. If you want to create your own, you could, or you could find one that's publicly available to use. Now, remember, you're giving this away for free, so you're not selling it, because also I feel like there's some materials you cannot sell it if it's not yours, but you can point to someone and say, you know, this is a free resource. So you're not selling it for money, but you're selling it in exchange to make sure you get their email or whatever else. Self-study packs or a study challenge. Those are all things that you could do. Now, what I've done is I actually have got an even bigger list than Katie. Not to one-up her, but I actually used ChatGPT to help me, and we're going to do that together just now. But this is quite a lot. It might be a bit small for you, to be honest. I think it's a bit small, but anyway, if you can't see it, what I can do is I can upload this maybe as a picture. But let's go through it. A guidebook, an ebook, a checklist, a reading list. So reading books for your niche, quiz or assessment, parent guides, list of links. So it could be like educational game links, educational resources, right? Especially for like kids who are learning English. Imagine you say, these are my top 10 games to play English, you know, get your kids to learn English whilst having fun. And now all of these you can put onto a PDF. Now, a PDF is really simple to make, really simple to send. So you can use it in a Word document, you know, save it as a PDF and share that. Okay, it's really easy. You can send that on every platform. It's usually a small kind of lead magnet that you can create. Another thing, especially for students outside of China, so like maybe Facebook groups and students there, you can use Canva templates. Some of you have used some of my templates. So they're templates that you can edit and then, you know, use them for yourself, which is quite fun. So you could do like vocabulary, like a vocabulary diary or worksheet, a book review that they can just edit, type out or edit for their favorite book, goals, a checklist, a workbook. Okay. So that's something you can do. Another lead magnet that I've used is my Google Drive access. And in fact, I'm going to unpack one of those in my Finding Students on Facebook group. I got about 400 people to give me their email addresses in exchange for me giving them access to my Google Drive. And you know, the thing is, I could have made that Google Drive open, but I actually said, you have to give me your email address for me to be able to give you access to my Google Drive. And they all gave their email addresses because they knew, yeah, you do have to have an email address for that. So I'm going to show you my Google Drive later in a second. I would just say whatever resources you have in it, make sure they don't have copyright issues. So they're either your resources or something like Twinkle or, you know, something that you're legally allowed to use. Okay, this one is a video. So you could have like a video recording of one of your classes, or it could be like a story that you're reading a story. It could be like singing some songs in English if it's younger learners. It could be anything. Now you can upload that onto YouTube for students globally, or Bilibili, which is the equivalent of YouTube if you are doing it in China. Okay, the other thing to point out here is videos. You can share them on WeChat, but only up to a maximum of 5 minutes. Okay, they don't let you share very long videos on WeChat. Last one is, and this is honestly, I've done this mostly, and I know some teachers don't for one-on-ones, but I am a group class teacher, so I give students a free group class. So this could be at the beginning of my course. You could do this once a week, or you could do this once a month, or you could do this for special occasions like Christmas, Easter, Halloween, whatever. Okay, then you're just sharing your Zoom link or your Vuv link, and that's a lead magnet as well, like in, you know, for them to get into there. So you can say, okay, I need you to join this group, which is where the Vuv meeting is, or I need you to give me your email so that I can send you the details for the Zoom meeting. So it's like a two-step process. You don't just give it to them when they ask it. They have to do something first in order to access it. Does that make sense? And when they join your group or when you get their email, you can now contact them. All right, I've got a question in the chat here. Do we need to get separate permission to add people to an email list, even if they're... Okay, so I'm going to go onto email lists in a little bit because you can get their email. And I did this in the beginning of my career. I just had a spreadsheet of everyone's emails and I sent like 100 emails a day, and it's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. I used to do that because I didn't know any better. Now I use a email service provider. So I actually personally use ManyChat, but you can use things like MailChimp. And there's one in China that I'll mention. It's in the lesson. I'll get that. You can use ConvertKit, absolutely. The thing is, just depending on which ones you choose, they are either free or you have to pay for them. So it just depends what you want to do. So I've actually decided not to go into too much detail with the email marketing software because it really depends where you are in the world and how much you're willing to spend and what features that you want in your email marketing list. But the idea in this lesson specifically is what lead magnet can you use to get their emails? All right, so that's kind of what I'm just focusing on today. We can go into some questions later. I'm more than happy to discuss it. All right, so when you share your lead magnets, okay, you then need to invite them to the next step too. So imagine I run a free trial class. Okay, so I give them the free trial class, but then I need to nurture them. So I've got them, say, in a WeChat group or my Shanghongshu group. Okay, I need to nurture them. But in my trial class, I will be saying at the end, hey guys, join my WeChat group for more details. Or if I'm on Facebook, make sure you join my Facebook page, my Facebook group. If I'm doing a video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Bilibili channel. Look out for the extra free trial classes. Okay, so these are all things that I'm saying. This is where you can find me again in the future for free content. And again, it's a call to action that's like, hey, this is free. I'm offering it to you. I'm building a relationship so you can get to know me. There's no pressure. You're not just saying off the bat, by the way, I also have 10 weeks of lessons, 20 weeks of lessons. You're saying, guys, I'm here. I'm available for you. I'm a friendly teacher. You can trust me. You can ask me questions. I'm available for free even. Okay. But then you say, well, why don't you share this with a friend who might be interested in this free content as well? So you can give them a flyer at that point and say, please share this flyer on your moments. Please share this flyer in your mum's group. Please share this flyer on your Facebook page or to a friend in a DM. But basically you're saying bring more people, because then that's, referral marketing. Okay. Then after doing those two things, I would say you can then say, well, just to let you know, I do offer paid services if you're willing to do that, right? Because it's not like in your face. They can still access you for the free stuff. So then it's like, well, I've got a free, group class once a month if you want to do that. With the paid services, I'm getting confused. You could say, well, these are my paid services. So I have 4 different group classes that I run during the week. I use this different curriculum. If you're doing one-on-ones, you can say, I do have one-on-ones that are more expensive than my group classes. And you can just share with them your paid services. Okay. I remember doing a story time with some teachers, and they did this huge group class and they did an amazing lesson. They got up, they danced with the kids, they read a story. The kids were frothing at the end of it. And I was like, oh, what a great teacher. She's so amazing. And then she just said bye and left. And I was like, that was a free group class. You had parents watching, you had the kids watching, and you never gave them the opportunity to contact you again. You never gave them the opportunity to use you as a paid teacher. And I was like, what was the point? Like, sure, organically, but you want to invite them. You want to say, these are the next steps. Make it easy for them to know what to do next. Okay. All right. So that's those steps. So I've just mentioned here, what are the calls to action depending on your lead magnet? So say you are sharing a PDF, okay? In your PDF, you need to have your logo, your email, your contact details, your WeChat, your Shanghongshu, your QR codes, so they can contact you. They might share that PDF with their school group. Hey, I found such a great English resource this week. I'd love for you to check it out. Or, oh, there's a reading challenge for a week. Do you want to do it with me? But in the PDF, it's your contact details. So they could share that to the world. And if your contact details are not in there, then how are they going to contact you? Okay, so we want to make sure that your contact details at the very least are there. And if you have got paid services, to tell them about it. So I would say I do run group classes. I also do one-on-one classes. I'm doing those particularly with the Reading Explorer or the Reach Higher. And I do it in preparation for the PET exams. Okay, so you can just outline your services at the end. So you give them all that free content first, then at the end, tell them what the next step could be. It's the same with a Canva template. Make sure that your details are there, that they can find you. Sorry. This one. If it's a video, just tell them they can subscribe to the channel, okay? Because then they'll always watch other content that you bring out, or you can reach out to join a free trial class. So you can write that in the description part, what the next part is. If you have got a Google Drive, you need to make sure that you've got a document at the top with your flyer and your services shown, so that every time they go into the Google Drive, they see your flyer. So they know you are offering services, you are the teacher, you are the authority figure in this, Google Drive, which is great. Okay, if you're doing the live group lesson, make sure, at the end of the lesson, you're telling people what to do next. You can even bring up your QR code on the screen, and you can say to the kids, hey, get your mums and dads, come and get them to scan this QR code. Tell them, if you want to have lessons with me on a weekly basis, if you want to join this group class, to reach out. So these are all the call to actions which they can do. Now, some tips is you want to create a lead magnet for your niche that would want them to naturally lead into signing up with you. So I'll be honest, I did a lead magnet the one time and it totally flopped. And in hindsight, it just wasn't connected enough to my services. It was very abstract. Whereas like a free group class for the first lesson of a course, naturally they're thinking, well, what's next? Oh, I want to do the next lesson with Jess in this course. Okay, so that's a great lead magnet for selling a course, the first lesson for free. For my 11+ students, I've got a Google Drive with extra information in it for the specific exam. So if they are learning for a specific exam, if they're looking for information like past papers or parent guides, they're obviously needing help for the 11+ exams. And so, that's going to directly make me, an obvious choice and the next step for them if they want to get a tutor. Okay, so try to make sure that they are related, they're not too abstract. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples of some lead magnets that I've done. So the first one is I did an Excel resource here. I'm going to just show this to you. So this is for my 11+ exams, which are my Facebook students in the UK and globally. I get a lot of students from Hong Kong also doing this, and even students who are Asian who are already living in England. So I've still got a huge Asian market. Can you see, like, I use a lot of Asian students, even for my 11+ exams, because it's such a huge niche. Like a lot of kids who are wanting to go into grammar schools are still Asian students. So you can see I've got my flyer at the top. I've got my timetable there. I mean, if people zoomed in, they can see my flyer. I've also got my website here. So if they want to go to my website and check out my website, they can. I've also got another flyer here. So these are all my group lessons. But one of the popular ones that I was doing at the time, especially when I was throwing this out as a resource, was my book club. So I need to update this really. But my book clubs, it's like basically creative writing, comprehension, SPAG, VR, NVR. It's over 5 weeks. It has got my pricing up here, which is £25 per student. It's got all of my details, my email address, my website. It has got my qualifications. The other thing I want to point out as a group class teacher, it's a bit sneaky, but when I started, I didn't have many classes, but this is a bit of psychology in selling. If you are showing that your services are getting fully booked, it kind of gives you authority that like other people are doing this. This must be good. So you can see I've got some that I'm literally saying, this is full, this is full, this is full. Like, sorry for you, you've missed out. Oh, but this one I've got 1 space left, 1 space left. Okay, so even if, you're starting with group classes, if you can't make it on a Monday at 5:30, it's a bit sneaky, but you could say, it's fully booked or it's unavailable or whatever, you feel comfortable with the wording. But I know that some teachers have tried this, and I think there's an element that makes like parents go, okay, I need to book in and I need to book in now. And you can even say like that urgency with your messaging. Hey, I've got group classes that are starting. I haven't got many spaces left. If you want to do this, do it now, because you're kind of getting them to get off of their bums and to book with you, right? It's an urgency. It's not going to be there in a week's time. So that's just a bit of a selling tactic. To be honest, as I grew as a group class teacher, these are all truthful. Like these are like my spaces, right? Okay, so let's just go and see. You can see all of the helpful information that obviously people can access. Now, none of these are mine. They are links to helpful places on the internet. So I'm not selling them. Okay, I haven't asked people to pay me money for this, but they're very helpful. And anyone who's wanting to learn for the 11 plus exams would find those links helpful. Now, you could do that for like English games, English resources, okay, depending what niche. If you're doing science, same thing, science games, science resources. Okay, I'm waffling on. Let me go back to the next one. This is my Google Drive. So this is the one that I was like, hey, if you want me to add you, like I've got all these free resources. This is my Google Drive. And you can even show a picture of this and you can say, hey, I'm always adding to this. If you've got resources to add to this, and that's what I did. I said, you can share resources with me. Not necessary though, but let's get all the resources together. It's really a huge lead magnet. Like so many people wanted to join this. So you could see here, I've got welcome to the folder. Okay, so people could read that. Okay, and then I've got book a free trial class, and I've got a picture of my trial class things. And I'll be honest, this does change all the time. So like sometimes I'll have this picture and it's like, actually, I'm fully booked on a Tuesday. But it gives them an idea that I'm a group class teacher. There's lots of different times during the week and to reach out for a free trial class. And you can see, obviously, there's lots of different folders here, all organized in a way that's it's really great for parents. I mean, this is a great free resource. Okay, let's go back to another one. Now, when I do a free trial class, especially with my 11 plus students, which is on Facebook, okay, you could do this. Trying to think how you'd do this in China. In China, I guess I just message people or in the groups. If I have like a group class, I would just message in the WeChat group. And it's a shame it is manually. But here, I have all of my free trial classes in a folder. Okay, so then my folder, basically for free trial class, I would just take this URL, copy it, and send it to them. And this is for my one-on-ones, I'll be honest. This is for one, I usually did, and this, again, I did this a while ago when I was doing one-on-ones. So I'm just sharing with you what I used to do as a lead magnet. I was teaching SOAP, which is literary devices. But it's very nice because parents can see what we're going to learn. Okay. The other thing is I've got lots of other things in here. I've got a reading book. So I've got suggested reading books, book review. I've got a PDF book that I'm allowed to share legally. Those old books you're allowed to do that with. So we've got a reading book. I've also got a vocabulary sheet. So I share them my yearly vocabulary that we do. And again, it's just showing them how impressive my offer is. It's not just the live group classes. This is everything that comes with my courses. I've got extra materials in here, past papers, parent guides. Okay, so this is my free trial class when I used to do it for one-on-ones. If you had to do like a group class, then I mean, for me, I just add them to my group classes. So I know that if I'm doing a comprehension class and they want to join for that group, I just send them the URL for that class on that day. But it shows them that I'm organized. It shows them my professionalism. It shows them that I'm giving them not just the lesson, but reading and vocabulary and extra curriculums and past papers. So again, it's adding value. And they're like, this teacher is really adding value. She's, offering so much more than just a lesson. All right, these are some examples of the free group classes that I did. So when I was doing group classes, if anyone's in my WeChat groups, they're called Story Time on WhatsApp. I had 3 WeChat groups. I had like about 300, 400, 500 parents who are coming for my free story time when I was doing that. And this is the flyer that they could send. So this actually says in Chinese, join this group, which is the QR code for the group. And in the group, I would tell the details and the Zoom links or the VooV links and things like that. But it was basically, I would read a story at 6:30 to 6:45. So it was 15 minutes of my time, but great lead magnet because I was able to meet with, I think I had like 30 kids in some of those classes, read a story for 15 minutes in English. And after every single one, I would tell them about my lessons that are paid services. Now, what I did here is I did do the alphabet. I did A all the way through to Z. And by the time I did 26 lessons and 26 stories for 15 minutes, I had so many students. So you can see I'm giving something away for free in order to promote myself as a teacher, impress them, gain their trust, and then they can join me for my paid services. And again, that's my flyer for my group lessons for the 11+ exams. All right. These are some other examples that I have used, not for my students, but I have also done this for my services, for my course. So I have created a free ebook. I'm just going to show you how simple this can be. So my free ebook, for this, you can actually use Canva templates, and then they're really easy. So go into Canva, ask for an ebook template, and then you can just edit it. So this is a free ebook that I used to be able to share with people. You can see, you know, offering different advice, how to do this, how to do that. But at the very end, I want you to see at the very end that I'm offering my services. I'm saying, hey, you can join me for the ITEACH course. Okay, so these are things that I was doing. I've also got my Facebook group for people to join, got my website. So in everything I'm doing, I'm getting them to maybe do the next step, to look into my services more, then potentially consider paying for my services. I do have a webinar, which for me, I found, like, for my services, that is the highest converting for my services, because people get to meet me to ask questions and answers. There's a real ability to build trust when you've got video face to face. And I think also that's why my free group classes are such a good lead magnet. I have done a checklist in the past before as well. And again, you can post free helpful content like an ebook or a checklist. And then the next step is join me for the free group class. So you can choose and do different lead magnets. Okay, so Alison asks, how do I share my Google Drive with Chinese parents? So Alison, again, for me, my Google Drive is for my Facebook students. So it was a lead magnet for my 11+ kids in the UK. So I have had parents from Hong Kong, from South Korea, a few of them who find me on Facebook. But a lot of Chinese parents are not on Facebook, and that's why the lead magnet is slightly different and the funnel is slightly different depending on where you're finding your students. So if you're in China and you try and get into anything that's Google, it'll block you on the Great Chinese Firewall. You can test if it's going to be blocked. You can just look for Great Chinese Firewall test, and you can put in your URL or website, and you can see if it's blocked in China. And most places are. That's why I say Strikingly is a really good website, because it's not blocked in China. So this is actually quite a nice test. I'll just pop that in the chat. If you ever wanted to test to see if people can access it. Now, I wonder if I literally do this now, I'll show you. I'll get that URL and I'll pop it in and I'll share it with you. Test site. Can you see it's blocked? People can't access it unless a Chinese parent has a VPN and they set the VPN to outside of China. So there are some parents who do that, but that's why the lead magnet and the funnel is so different for China compared to Facebook. So I'm trying to, it's a bit tricky to grasp that, but basically Facebook and Google, Gmail, it's not accessible in China. But just to remind you, this funnel, you need to create a lead magnet in order to exchange either an email to nurture them in an email, okay, if you're on Facebook, or if you are in China, to get them to join your WeChat or Shonghongshu group so that you can nurture them in there, okay? You nurture them with content and your offers so that people buy. That's the whole point of a lead magnet. You are welcome to create all sorts of fun lead magnets. Yeah, and you can get the access to this recording if you want to watch it again and go through it again, okay? All right, wonderful. Thanks, everyone. Lisa, I'm amazed at how you never run out of great ideas and resources. Fantastic. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad I've given you ideas. But listen, the hard part is putting it into practice. So go have a cup of tea, have a break, and then work on your lead magnet. Okay. All right. Awesome. Cheers, everyone. Thanks so much for a great day today. Thanks, everyone. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.